Good evening. We are continuing from Daf Samach Daled Amud Aleph, 12 lines from the top. More. This sugya today is a lot of learning the Pesukim. And when one rabbi explains one pasuk, we have to explain how the other rabbis who did not learn this way, how do they explain that pasuk? Because if he learned this pasuk this way, that means that word's extra, or the letter's extra. So how do they explain the pasuk while still maintaining their own opinions? Okay. Amar more. Yomar short ugneva. Pasuk should have only written ox and the stolen item, and everything else would have been included. Miktiv short ugneva, but it is written ugneva short who diktiv, but it says stolen and ox, right? It doesn't say ox and stolen like the Gemara mentioned it should have done. It said stolen and ox. Maybe you might think if it had been written that way, but did it mean to say that if ox and then stolen item? Then, but then can you say that if the specification is written specifically in that order, like the short, it has to be only an animal that could be a korban. Have a short prat. If short is written first, it wouldn't be that way because short will be first. That's a specification. And the stolen item would be a generalization. Pratu klal naase klal mosif al prat. And if it's a pratu klal versus a klal uprat, then the generalization serves to extend the specification. It will be everything will be included. Rather would mean saying the right time, let it be written ox and stolen according to the regular way. Geneva v'shor, ox, stolen and then ox. And then can you say everything's included? Or only what the specifications specify, yani oxen. Have the geneva cloud, and therefore geneva is a cloud. V'shor prat, klal prat, and meklal mashal prat, short in midachin. Therefore, only ox, nothing else. So how would you learn that? It wouldn't make sense either. Well, only oxen you pay kefil. He's using the word hayim live. Teach you what klal pratu klal kamar it's klal pratu klal, and then therefore it includes everything else. The first generalization is not similar to the second generalization. First one says live, second one says stolen item. It's not two generalizations, that's two random items. Where it says, he says, yes, and even if the first and the last halim generalizations don't match, it still works. Then this is the problem. What does the pasuk need to say? If he shall be found, he shall surely be found. Right? Double ashon of being found. Where it says, let's see now, let's explain why is that a question. Yomar shor maybe the Breta should have said only ox and stolen item and live, everything else would have been answered. The only way that you only think that animals that can be poured as a korban can be used. So the merchant will say, okay, now what else would you add? A sheep. You bring a sheep. How do you say amor? You have a sheep. What would you use stolen item for? And hayim. That about kol to include everything. The Gemara says Yomar gneva v'shor v'seva hayim v'akol b'chal. Mention ox, sheep, live, and everything else will be included. So the Gemara says iluka hayit yomer v'afrat mifresh davar kadosh b'chorav kol davar shebur chorav. You might think that it only include things like ox and sheep that have kadosh firstborns. Where it says ma'yesh la'chavi, what would you bring this, including hamor, to include a hamor? Kishomer hamor. So now why did the Torah mention hamor? Hamor amur, hamar can geneva. So then you have hamor said straight out. So now geneva extra again. Then about kodavar to include everything else that is movable. Yomar geneva shor v'sev hamor v'hayim v'akol b'chal. So therefore the Torah should have said stolen item, ox, sheep, donkey, live, and everything else would have been included. Why do you need me to himaseh timaseh? Right, we've just circled back to our original question now. Now that we established everything else is necessary, why do you need a double lashon of if it's found? You might think had it been written just as follows, you might think only living items will be included. So Margamar says, you might think you're trying to include only living items because we already have the word hayim to include life. Therefore, what does the Geneva teach you? About kol davar to include everything else. Again, why back to the original opinion of Maseh to Maseh, we are back to it that it's extra. The Gemara says, if that's the case, that we have all these Pesukim words in Pesukim teaching you, and Himal said extra, why don't we use the word Himal said to teach you anything? The Gemara says, because Himal said are needed to teach you everything else, because the other things have a pircha, have a refutation. You could knock it out. Which word do we use to teach you everything else? Michal the Batra, from the last klal, of live. But then the last one it says live, which only counts live things. Therefore, what does the klal pratu klal include? Mentions everything. We already only have live. Which sounds like it can only include living things. Therefore, we need the words the findings. Amri, the Gemara says, when we have klal pratu klal, that only works if you have a prat sandwich between the klalim. Over here we have himatzeh, finding things with nothing in between. How does that work? Gemara says, we have opinion in Eretz Yisrael. If you have two generalizations back to back, I'll tell a prat in him, you could throw in a prat in between, virtually, as they say. And you could make it klal prat. If you want, you could put the short in between them. That's what you might include what? If you want to teach me live things, we already learned from Chaim. Maybe it's things that are not alive. And maybe learn as follows. Just like the Pasuk mentioned an ox, which is movable and has money, I've called the anything that has movable and money has kefa. Maybe you may be able to put the donkey in between the two words himaseh. That's what you might include what? If you want to include things that are not chaim, mishor nafka, written from ox. Rather, including something that has identifying mark, right? Which we used the other time. We learned the other opinion learned it from Salma. Why do I need the word said to teach you? So we have to change everything. The pasuk has to be learned not klal but klal, rather. It's referring to ribui and mi'ut. Right? Ribui is an inclusion, exclusion. Riba, mi'et, riba, inclusion, exclusion, and inclusion. Kitana Rabbi Yishmael, like Rabbi Yishmael said, Rabbi Yishmael, b'mayim, shte pamim. When the pasuk is teaching you the halachot of fish, it mentions the fish in the water are kosher. It mentions the word in the water twice. B'mayim. En ze klal prat. It's not a klal prat. Riba umiyat riba. It's including and excluding and including. Riba calls including all types of water, whether you're growing them in the ocean, in the river, in a ditch. All fish have to have the halachot of fish and scales, of fins and scales. So over here, what would be the inclusion of himasat himatzeh? Rabbi commonly includes everything. If you included everything, why you need the ox, donkey, sheep, etc. One opinion holds six. So we say no, it's excluding land. One is excluding slaves. One including stars. Geneva b'chayim and according to and the word geneva b'chayim is according to Rav Tamar Keren Ke'en Sheganav, who holds that you can remove you raise it up to the price that you stole it at. If you stole $100 now, it's worth 90. You still pay $100 if the animal, let's say, got older or weaker. So now that was all according to Hizkiah. Now, according to the opinion holds that one pasuk is referring to the thief, and one pasuk is referring to you claim it was stolen by a thief. And he learned that the actual thief is chayav kefel from the pasuk if the thief is found. Where does he learn from the double ashon of himasat timatzeh? He learns from this opinion. Why does Rav hold? Right? We have a famous thing we mentioned a few times. Someone has a scenario where if Edim testify, but he were to admit beforehand, patur, even if Edim came afterward. How does he know? If he's found lying, he pays kefel. If he's found through witnesses, he's chayav, through judges. Which excludes someone who self-incriminates himself. That both Pesukim referring to the theft of the guy stole it himself. Some people is referring to the case where the thief pays it double. Mashit, that's moving on. How we know that if someone who's self-incriminates, he's not chayav to pay. Me asher yarshiun Elohim. Again, the word Elohim over here means court. So it says that when the judges shall find him guilty, he pays kafel. But lo, Mashit, that's someone who incriminates himself. Uman damar had beganav, the had beto and tanat ganav. And according to the opinion who holds that the one pasuk is referring to a thief, and one pasuk is holding that it's the guy who claims he got stolen from him. Who learns it from the pasuk of himaset to teach you that you're patur if you self-incriminate. Hi asher yarshun madarishbim. Right, so where does learn with that second pasuk of asher yarshun Elohim, that the judges shall find you guilty? The other opinion needed to teach you that Modeh b'knas patur, but what does this opinion hold it? If you learn it from other pasuk, Malach hawi barle the modeh b'knas patur. He needs to teach you that modeh b'knas patur in general, not just by kefil. Uman damar televav b'tem tagav kasavar modeh b'knas v'achakach ba'uvadim b'chayav. And the other opinion who does not learn this, who doesn't learn that modeh b'knas patur by the case of kefil, he actually would agree and say that all cases of modeh b'knas you are hayav if edim testified it afterward. Okay, right, back and forth. And back to according to the opinion who hold that one pasuk is referring to thief. And one person is the pasuk where he said he got stolen from. Who learned that regarding a thief, if the thief is found, you're chayav in kefel. Makes sense for him, the pasuk that will fit with Rav Bar Eli. Like we said just now that modeh b'knas patur. What does he learn with the other parts of the Pasukim, ox, donkey, etc.? All right, all extra. The Gemara says the Ketan de Reishmal. This opinion, Tanar Reishmal, Kol Parashash Emrav Benishrit, Lo Nijin Ela Davar Shin Hateshba. It's true. Ox, donkey, sheep are all extra because we had it previously. But this opinion holds, like whatever Yishmael, that holds that what? As long as one thing is new from the Pasuk, even though the rest is repetitive, the rest is repetitive for just to teach you the new thing. And that new thing is to teach you Modeh patur. Even though the rest is extra, repetitive, that's fine. Okay, now maybe you might think that an actual thief who got caught shall be chayav kefel with a shvuah, he swore. Not an option. Rabbi Yaakov says the thief shall pay double, even without a shvuah. I know without a swear, maybe with a swearing. Amarta lo kachaya. You must say this is not what the pasuk meant to say. Like Gemara says, obvious question. Ma lo kachaya. Not the intention of the pasuk. What does that mean? The pasuk didn't mean that. If the pasuk wanted to teach you that the kefel is not chayav by a regular thief, the pasuk should not have written shnayim mishalim by a thief. And you can learn from Kavahomer from someone who says they got stolen from, right? The watcher who got stolen from. That's what he's claiming from. Well, in the case where the watcher said that he got robbed, where the item that came to possession was given to him willingly and with permission to watch it. Someone who stole it, where he stole the item and it came into possession through an avirah. For sure, it's kefil. So therefore, why would the pasuk need to mention kefil by a thief? Teach you, right? That you obviously don't need to teach you kefil because we know for sure from a shomer chiyam that kavachomer this guy's chayav kefil. So what does it teach you to tell you that you chayav kefil even without swearing? What do you mean? That part of the himaseh teaches you something. You need something else. Yeah, though the pasuk says by kefil, if it's found in his hand, he pays kefil. I only know from his hand. How do you know that if it's found in his roof or any courtyard or anywhere in his property? As long as it's found elsewhere, anywhere in his property, as long as it's found in his possession. So now we see that we use that pasuk to teach you something else, not to teach you that you're chayav. Where it says imkain, we say no. It could be teaching us both things. Imkain limakra himmatze or timmatze. The pasuk could have mentioned it, both words uniformly, both himmatze or both timmatze. And the fact that it mentioned himmatze, timmatze, it switched it up. It switched the language in the middle. It teaches you both halachot. Right? It teaches you both things that you're chayav wherever it is, and you're also chayav if a thief stole it, you're always chayav even without a shivua. We'll stop here.